Our next speaker is Dr. Noah Glaser from University of Missouri, and he'll be presenting a project called Perfect but Good Enough, a primer for creating spherical video-based virtual reality for autistic users. So yeah, take it away, Noah.
Thanks so much. So again, my name's Noah Glaser. This work was actually done with Dr. Nigel Newbutt and a good colleague and former student of mine named Heath Palmer, who's at the University of Cincinnati finishing his master's in engineering. So instead of preparing a deck of slides, I decided to share this poster that we had submitted for something else that was done before submitting this paper. Actually, this paper is an evolution of an ongoing series of conversations and ideas that we had for some time. Both Nigel and I have done extensive work in creating virtual reality systems for autistic learners, with the majority of my dissertation work being around the design development of a suite of virtual reality technologies called Virtuoso, which was around providing public shuttle transportation training for autistic adults enrolled in a day program in Cincinnati, Ohio, where I did my PhD at. As part of that intervention approach, we included a spherical video-based virtual reality system where we could model the skills to the learners before they would go into a fully immersive replica of the University of Cincinnati, where they would practice those skills in a fully immersive VR environment. Obviously, there's a lot of research that shows that virtual reality systems they're not really getting out of the research labs. There's been VR and autism research going on since the mid-90s, and next to nothing actually gets used by the autistic community, and next to nothing has taught people with autism how to use the skills that they're supposed to be teaching them. And part of the reason for that is that traditionally fully immersive VR systems are quite expensive, unwieldy, hard to develop for. It's hard to pass it on from a research lab and give it to a practitioner or a day program coordinator or a parent or an autistic individual themselves. So we started looking at this SVVR, or spherical video-based virtual reality approach, and that is essentially imagine a 360-degree video put into a VR headset. There's some good debate as to whether or not this actually is virtual reality, and if putting something in a VR headset is sufficient for that point. Either way, it's a lot easier to develop for. The SVVR component of the intervention that I created we shot the footage in about a couple hours, and then we put it together in a open source Unity script and had it ready in like a day. Whereas the fully immersive virtual reality environment, the first prototype took 2.5 years, and then porting into Unity a couple of years later took several months. So the whole idea that Nigel, Heath, and I kind of worked on was how to draw out this process and how we can get these technologies into the hands of autistic users and their communities. So what we wanted to do in this paper was present SVVR as being like, it has some of the affordances and characteristics of a fully immersive VR system, but it doesn't have all of them. Hence the name. It's not perfect, but there's a lot of potential learning benefits that we say it's a good enough approach in many cases. And this paper presents a primer where we walk through everything that practitioners would need, going all the way down to the level of what you need to buy, the software and the hardware that you need, how you can actually edit these together. And we present it as this series of almost like a micro case study from the US project, which is the Virtuoso project I did for my dissertation, and a UK project that Nigel did when he was over in the United Kingdom before he moved to the University of Florida. And that's essentially the quick overview of our paper. We basically say that this approach is more accessible and has the potential to increasing the adoption and use of VR technologies for autistic users and their communities. That is it.